that's interesting to me is that since it was Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was popular during the WWF Attitude Era, that's when like television was a little bit the WWF took a big gamble with being more raw and adult, but these days they have to like the stuff that they did back then they would get canceled for now because there's a lot of sexism, masculinity. There's maybe some racism in there too, you know. But back then that was like how it was popping, and back then that was when wrestling was the biggest. And they're saying now that like the landscape has changed. So how can they create the same size superstars that they had back then? Because back then the superstars were huge. Like The Rock, Stone Cold, they were big. There's no other wrestlers that are big as them. Now the last big one was like John Cena. Is that what they're saying? So all these new wrestlers, they're saying, are like they don't have the drive to be as big because there's like different outlets for them to be bigger. Now they can be YouTubers or they can be personalities or whatever, like gamers and streamers and stuff like that. Back then, you couldn't be a streamer, you couldn't be a gamer, you couldn't be a personality. If you weren't going for the heavyweight championship title, and if you weren't like in the top, you were the jobber and you were nothing. There was no option. You had to be in the top contender in order to be popular and successful. So it's pretty interesting. And I feel like you can kind of think of that as a content creator too. You need to drive. I bet Chap would pay good money to watch you wrestle. It has to do with TV popularity, and not very few young people even watch TV. Yeah. So, it's interesting. And James says, who is your favorite wrestler? I watch wrestling for the most part during the